Theresa Tolulope Gbenro is the founder of the Own NYSC movement, an initiative that has empowered over 3,000 young people to live purposefully during the gap year. She's also an award-winning social impact consultant with almost a decade of experience. Tolulope is a youth advisory board member for the AU-EU Youth Action Lab, a UNICEF YPAT member, a 2024 finalist of the Future Africa Award, and a 2025 nominee for the CEO Network Africa Award. Her work spans climate action, renewable energy, women empowerment, and youth governance. She is also a recipient of the 2022-23 Nigerian Youth Futures Fund Leadership Grant and the 2023 International Climate Policy Competition winner. She is an alumna of Enactus, MCM, Health Prize, Leap Africa, among other organizations. Tolulope holds a BSc in Industrial Physics, Applied Geophysics from Covenant University, and has undergone specialized training in climate negotiation from IDEB. She's also a published author and has been featured on numerous media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our distinguished guest, Theresa Tolulope Gbenro.
To start by appreciating the POST-NYSC Career Compass team, my colleagues, for the phenomenal work that they have done in putting this together, in supporting and in bringing our phenomenal speakers. I also want to appreciate Mr. Elijah for his session. So today I'm going to just briefly speak about curated employability tools. Just as you are already aware from the publicity, NYSC is an official partner to this phenomenal project. And I'm going to speak about what we plan to do for continuation when we're done with the 3 days webinar, what exactly is going to happen. All right, so here is the agenda, and I've divided the agenda into 4 brief parts. So first, I'm going to start by talking about the POST-NYSC Career Compass, just a brief overview of the project in itself. Next, I'm going to just speak briefly about NYSC, because after this 3-day webinar series, you will after this 3-day webinar series, we will spend some time together. So I have divided today's short presentation into 4 parts. I'm going to just speak briefly about the POST-NYSC Career Compass. You've already heard about it, and Media was doing a phenomenal job telling you further about some of the other activities that will happen post the 3-day webinar series. Next, I'm going to speak briefly about NYSC, what we do, and then I'm going to share professional tips, just very short professional tips, less than 10, and then we're going to speak about the supporting resources that we'll share with you. Fumi, you can go to the next slide. All right, next slide, please. So what exactly is the POST-NYSC Career Compass? This is a project by the Public Policy and Governance Lab, a capstone project by us, and we have divided the project into 2 parts. So the first part is this webinar series that you're participating in to help core members, people that are transitioning, graduates, early career professionals, and people that are, almost done with NYSC, prepare for the job market. And we were very intentional and deliberate in choosing the topics, the speakers, and various areas as well. Today is just, a lot about mindset, preparing your mind, your heart to receive what will be shared, and there will be more practical and I would say technical sessions in the coming days. So please do not miss it. If you have a friend, a colleague, you have a group chat with young people, with core members, students, early career professionals, please share the flyer to register for the event and the link as well, because we also have supporting resources. So if for any reason, maybe due to clashing schedules, they are unable to join in live for all the sessions, they will have access to the replay. But if you do not sign up to register, then we cannot share the replay and other supporting resources with you. Post the 3-week webinar series, we would launch officially the survey form, which you can see here. And Ayomide spoke on that because we want to create change in the system, right? And we are doing something that is really intentional and deliberate. So this is not a research or a paper that is going to waste. This is a research and a paper that would eventually end up in the hands of the government. If you're not already aware, the National Youth Service Corps program, NYSC, is currently under reforms by the government. So you can Google that up. Yes, the program is already under reforms. And that's why we are doing our own part to hear exactly what young people say. You know, you're like, scrap NYSC. Some people are like, don't scrap it. It can be better. It can be this. It can be that. So we want to really hear what you have to say. Tell the government what is working, what they can improve on, and what they can introduce, particularly in the area of employment and post-NYSC engagement. Some people cry after NYSC based on you know, their level of exposure and the background they are coming from, because they are not sure they would ever get a job that would pay them minimum wage or what NYSC was paying them. So it's really important that, you know, we work together with government to create employable pipelines that are sustainable for young people as well. Thank you very much. Please, next slide. You can tap again. All right, so I'm just going to briefly speak about HON NYSC. Please, you can go to the next slide. No, please, you have to go back. Yeah, this slide. So HON NYSC is a youth-led movement that focuses on helping core members, graduates, early career professionals, and anybody currently in a gap year period to maximize their life, their service here, and really to find purpose. We've been doing this for the past 3 years. It actually started in my 8 months of service. Yes, that's when we started HON NYSC, and we have significantly impacted the lives of over 3,000 young people across Nigeria through a spotlight series, a Telegram channel that we'll speak about later, our phenomenal mentorship programs and packages. There are about 5 of them. This year alone, we launched the mentorship program, and we launched about 5 packets of that. You would learn more about that subsequently. We also had 2 live skill building session on data analytics, where Ife, who is a seasoned energy and data analytics professional, spoke to us twice. And then we also had 2 core members that were inspired by us and used our resources to implement personal CDS projects this year. So far, that has been documented. We've also had 3 live webinars to prepare core members for camp. So we are clearly doing a whole lot, and that's why we are very happy to partner with the POST-NYSC Career Compass, because the work that we do is in sync. Please, next slide. So I think earlier on the call, I saw one of the mentees and also part of our partners from, you know, HON NYSC, and they, please, you can go back. They have also really done a phenomenal work in supporting us and the work that we do. So whatever way you plug in, whether you plug in through the Telegram community or whatever, you would get the most of it. A number of our resources are free, and those that are not free are also heavily discounted, so you would learn more about that as well. So now I'm going to just spend some time here to speak about some professional tips. Mr. Elijah has done a phenomenal job, you know, talking about mindset. For me, has just, you know, blown us away with her experiences, and I'm also going to just share some things. Next slide. So whether you are going in the public sector, private sector, you came here maybe because of the session on apprenticeship, whatever you're doing, or entrepreneurship, or you signed up for the creative session, the first thing I want to speak about today is inattentional blindness. And it's something that applies to everybody, whether you're a core member or you're not a core member. What does this mean? It means that we are looking for an opportunity packaged in a certain form or way. And when the opportunity shows up in a form that is separate from what we have in mind, the idol, the image, we fail to see it. So for example, many people struggle to get a PPA because they are looking for an opportunity that says explicitly PPA core member needed. Meanwhile, for some people, depending on your context, they may have an experience, and if they apply for a job, in getting that job, they can turn that job into their PPA without, the job saying PPA. And it does not apply to just core members. Like I mentioned, it applies to everybody. So sometimes you're looking for an early career professional opportunity, and because you're not informed of how the market changes or the opportunities in your front, you just say no. So maybe someone finished with a microbiology degree, this is an example, and then they're looking for an entry career or entry level microbiology role, but there are graduate trainee opportunities, right? And these graduate trainee opportunities serve different purposes depending on the organization. So in one organization, a graduate trainee opportunity could be an early career opportunity. In another organization, a graduate trainee opportunity could be a fast track program to management. So really understanding the context of opportunities and how they show up is important. And then I think something I want to say before we move to the next slide is, as a core member, your experience varies, and you're absolutely responsible for the outcome of your life, which is one of my favorite quotes by Bishop David Oyedepo. But in taking responsibility, so because your friend is looking for an entry level role, it does not mean that you're automatically entry level. So you have people that have done BSc, MSc before they came back to serve. You have people that just finished BSc and are currently serving with you. You have people that finished BSc, but they went through a system of 7 months or maybe they had a 5-year course and they ended up doing it for 10 years because of strike. So you have to define your experience and the stage you're at, so that you don't keep, this crowd mentality and you miss the opportunity that is right in front of you. Please, next slide. This one is also really important. Many times I see young people, and sadly so, under comment sections of organizations saying, you guys are so unfair. What do you mean the cutoff age is 26? I'm 28. Nigeria is so hard. Is it because of strike? First thing I want to say is organizations will have system, and I'm sorry that the country is currently the way it is. But from data and statistics, it has been shown and proven that men are more likely to apply for an opportunity if they meet 60% of the criteria, and women will not apply for the same opportunity until they meet 100% of the criteria. So the questions, are requirements important in an application? Yes, but requirements are just guidelines. Requirements are just stepping stones. And many times, if you meet 100% of the requirements, it means you're overqualified for that opportunity. So at the end of the day, when you see an opportunity, take initiative, knock on the door, and most likely if you make it past the CV screening, cover letter screening, and you make it to the interview stage, your chances of getting in are literally higher, right? So at the end of the day, requirements are important, but you determine how important they are to you or to the context of what you're applying for. And I think this is also something, if you work with men or you hang around men alone, you will learn audacity. Some people call it ego. When a man may not know something, but he will talk about it like he knows it. In fact, he can even be bragging about what he doesn't know, but he doesn't really know it. It's like he's asking you a question, but he is bragging about what he's not sure of. So I think really dealing with imposter syndrome is about applying, knocking, and yeah, because of time, we'll not go into details into all the points, but we'll speak about them in the in the supporting resources that will be shared as well. Next slide, please. So competence versus network. This one is literally a myth. Some people will tell you you need to be competent. You just need to work so hard, knock, 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 knock. And when you work so hard, you will climb up the ladder. And some people will tell you you don't need to work anything. You just need to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Competence and network are equally important. So yes, there are limits and there are facets to which both of them go hand in hand. But playing to one extreme and telling yourself you need only competence is going to hurt you in your career journey. And playing just alone to network, I know somebody that knows somebody, I'm going to step on the head of people, throw people under the bus, not have any friend in the office, and make it to the top, is also going to hurt your career journey as well. Next slide, please. However, also, competence makes it easy for you to ask for what you deserve. So many times when it comes to, young people, it's hard to ask for your pay. People tend to, there is the place for volunteering. And like I mentioned earlier, depending on your career journey or the phase you're at, you may need to serve. Some people's purpose will require them to serve their way to the top. So yes, you would never outgrow service, but there is the need to create boundary in serving and earning also as you go. And in earning, people don't pay you for how good you are. People pay you for what you negotiate. So you might be worth 100% and you end up getting 50% because that's what you negotiate. That's what you ask for. So competence makes it easy for you to deal with the imposter syndrome and makes it easier for you to negotiate and ask for what you are worth. Next slide, please. And then this is one of my favorite quotes by myself. When you're competent, people see your competence before they see their bias. But when you're incompetent, people see their bias and then they use their bias to justify your incompetence. What does it mean? It means we are young people, right? Everybody is biased. Your recruiter is biased. I am biased in some way, or I have some form of human bias. So when I show up, if I show up as a young person, because in this part of the world, young people are seen in a certain light, which is not necessarily positive or to their own good, people would use that bias with which I have showed up as, which is being a young person, to judge my competence. So they may not give me certain things, they may not pay me well, they may not treat me well because they think I'm young. But even being young, if I decide to show up as a professional first, and then it becomes easier for them to recognize my competence because my competence is being a professional, and then being a youth becomes a bias. So they say, wow, this person is such a high achiever for their age, or this is such a professional young person that is rare to find in their generation. And it makes it easier for me to get certain opportunities and benefits as well. So like Elijah also mentioned, be so good at what you do that you're not ignored, right? That's the goal. So competence, so important. Next slide, please. Please, next slide. It hasn't moved.
How about now?
No, it hasn't moved for me. Has it moved from your end?
Yes, I have a passion versus purpose.
Hello, is that for me?
Yes, Tolu, I have passion versus purpose on the screen. Is that what you see?
Yes, thank you. I can see it. Yes.
All right.
So this is so important, and it is something that young people struggle with a lot. Passion is so important, and passion is so powerful. I like to think of passion as emotion. Emotion is fuel, and when you put fuel in the right instrument that is gauged and controlled by the right person, right professional, you can use fuel to refine gold. You can use it to purify metals. But the same fuel, when it just falls from what's it called, a tank, when a fuel tank collapses or something and there's an accident, it can cause a deadly explosion. And we've taught passion so much that we have taught it in the wrong way. So we say things like follow your passion, be passionate about it, and people find it hard to balance it with purpose as well as presently existing opportunities. So what I want to say about this is you don't have to be passionate to be excellent. Excellence is a choice. Excellence is you choosing to do something. You don't wake up every day and feel like brushing your mouth every day, but have you brushed your mouth every day for the past maybe 10, 15 years? Chances are yes. You don't wake up every day and want to go to your 9 to 5, but you need money, so you go to work. So it's the same thing with purpose. And I think that is also a major difference between our current generation, Gen Zs, Gen As, and the older generation. The older generation, we're a lot more focused on work, dignity of labor, and they built their life and livelihoods around it. So your mommy and your daddy's, family friend, community person, one or two people in the same industry with them. Even their church location was the choice of housing location, the community was situated close to work. So at the end of the day, you don't have to be passionate to be excellent. Passion is fuel. So when you feel passionate about something, you want to ask yourself, what is this passion pointing to, right? What exactly is this passion pointing to? And what do I need to do? Because at the end of the day, it's emotion. So you don't say I'm angry and then you just blow fire in the air. It's pointing to something. And then purpose is that one thing that you were created to achieve on earth. But tied to your purpose is, you know, vision and assignments. And assignments change over time. And also a wrong way we have taught this to career professionals is you hear someone say, I wanted to be in public policy, and I heard I had to study law. So I studied law, I did everything, and I don't understand why there's a pivot in my career. For everyone, you're going to experience a pivot in your career, even if you think you knew what you needed to study at a younger age. That's because the essence of the pivot is not necessarily about the career, but it's for character development, and it's also for building relationships. And that's why if you pay attention to your life and life patterns, you realize that there are some people you were in the same nursery school with for maybe 6-7 years, and you never spoke to them. And one day you randomly meet them at a conference, and in having a conversation weeks later, you realize you were in the same space for years. So sometimes the pivots are really necessary for alignment in themselves. Next slide, please. So this one is really important and very personal to me, the topic of resilience. And, you know, when we say, say don't give up, who give up, now who give up, mess up. So many quotes, no grief for anybody, 2025 hashtag. But it's really not as simple and as basic as that. So I'm going to give really practical examples. In 2022, I was a 7 core member in Ilorin, Kwara State, and I wanted to implement a personal CDS project. And I wanted to implement that project with grants, not crowdfunding. So I didn't want to ask people, because I felt asking people meant I was incapable. I had an insecurity that made me over-dependent and not wanting to ask people for help. So I ended up applying for grants, and just like Fumi said, there were applications I submitted 3 times, and 30 minutes after they would send me rejection, I reached out to private professionals. I wrote to organizations. It was just a whole process. And at the end of 3 months after applying, I got 20 rejection emails. And towards the end of service year, I counted 50 rejection emails. So when I counted the 50th rejection, I stopped counting the rejections, right? I eventually got the grant to implement a project, and I got the grant 2 weeks to my personal parade. Now, I can share this story and you're like, oh my God, I am inspired. That's just one area of my life. I have faced rejection in other areas of my life, right? For example, I'm going to give another practical experience. So school, I applied for a PhD some years ago, and then I got admission for that. I applied for another program for school. I got admission for my 3 degrees, but I lost scholarship for that degree. And then a lot of things happened, and eventually school did not go the way I wanted it to go, or when I wanted it to go. But because I was resilient in, you know, having to get the financing for the personal CDS, I still had to deal with the vulnerability of rejection on another end. And this is something that is so important, because I can come here and aspire to inspire you about something, and you're just like, wow, wow, wow. But it does not mean that you don't feel vulnerable on another end. And sometimes the key to dealing with resilience is really sitting down with your fear. What are you afraid of? Coming into 2025, I wanted to write about youth development. And when I sat down with myself to start writing about it last year, I cried, because I was like, God, these people don't like my post. If they don't like my post now, if I now change what I'm doing, they say this girl is always changing, they will not like it. So dealing with that vulnerability and being consistent when the going gets tough is really important. And that is really what resilience is about. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is almost the last one. So apply. At the end of the day, whatever you want, whether it's an apprenticeship, a job in the public sector, a job in the private sector, it's not the best application that wins. It's the best applied application. It's the best application from the pool. I mean, yeah, there are many factors to why applications get selected and not selected. But if your application is not in the pool of applications that, you know, selection will be made from, then you're not going to get it. So apply, apply, apply. Next, please. Trust. So this is a very important one, and I believe this should be where these segments of key tips are ending for today. We're currently in an economy that some people might call the experience economy. So oftentimes when you hear professionals talk about job and career, they would say things like young people don't have the skills. But what they mean, because I sat in so many meetings and I just kept wondering, what exactly do these professionals mean? What they mean is they don't trust the certification or the qualification of young people. And that is because the current educational system in most institutions in Nigeria do not have the right curriculum and resources required to train students. So regardless of what degree you finish with or how well you do certain things, if I know that a particular system is not taught to you, there's nothing you want to convince me about. There's also the trust in saying we don't trust the behavior of this person, or we don't trust the experience that they are bringing. So yeah, there's the part of needing experience to get experience, and at a later time we'll speak more about that. Next slide, please. So finally, I'm going to just dive briefly into supporting resources that will be shared with you at the end of the 3 days program. So yes, this was my LinkedIn profile as at 4 years ago. Next slide. And then the next slide is the one as of today. I took this screenshot today. So we would have a session on this in the supporting resources, not as a live session. Next slide, please. For CV writing, it's a long topic. However, we have a next slide also. We have a CV writing tool that will share with you on what to do, on what not to do, on what should be there and what not. That will come as a supporting resource as well. And the good thing about the CV writing tool is it comes with, I think, 4 or 5 extra templates, but it has a 15-minute video attached to it. So watching the video will allow you to put any experience that you have in the ATS CV. Next slide, please. And also the good thing about it is the experience used was that of a secretary. So if you did something, if you were a secretary or for any profession, you would see from the templates that will be shared with you how you can extract project management skills and create a basic CV template. Because at the end of the day, the thing about CV writing is transferable skills. So yeah, that's that. And then also you have access to the LinkedIn pack. There is a whole calendar, there's a booklet and some other things as well. Next slide. You also have access to this. So earlier in the year, I sat with someone that went through the NMPC graduate training program, and I think we did a 5 video series interview of the entire process. So that would help you understand how certain recruitment systems work. You would also see a resource we shared with you on how I applied for and got selected for a graduate trainee experience. I think the application process was about 5 or 7 steps. I don't remember, but there was a part where we were doing tug of war. Don't ask me how it's part of recruitment, but you will learn about that as well. And then if you go immediately after this this session today on the social media pages, Instagram or LinkedIn, you'll find the unemployable post, and you can learn more about CV and CV writing from this post as well. Next slide. And then, yes, finally. So tomorrow we're having the phenomenal Chioma, and she's coming to really speak about, artisans and how you can get into the job market. Her organization does a really phenomenal job in recruiting artisans and ensuring that they are paid well. They also have some opportunities open for core members that are looking for PPA. So you can check her page on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and learn more. Next slide. Okay, yeah. So we're also going to have a session on scholarship pathways tomorrow. So please ensure you do not miss that. Next slide. Thank you so much for listening. Next slide. Unfortunately, we will not be able to take questions, but if you have questions, you can put them in the chat, you can send an email, or you can reach out on social media. Thank you very much.